Welcome back to Blueboxd. This is a show where we log everything and anything from across the universe. I'm Rylie, and today I'm joined by...
Matt.
Woohoo!
What?
And we're talking about episode 3 of Series 15, or Series 2, The Well.
Well.
I mean, first off, this is a very, it seems to have gone down very well with nearly everybody, especially after the last week, which was people liked it, but not so much. So yeah, the Doctor and Belinda arrive on planet 6464.
Yeah.
Oh, full of galvanic radiation. What is that? We've heard of that before. They open to the scene of murders and people's bones broken everywhere, which, pretty cool, I think, actually, for Doctor Who.
Pretty sick.
And then they find Rose, who is actually the character Alice Fenley, that we haven't just done 3 takes of. They find Alice, who's sitting alone and has been for 15 days, which is we can talk about that in a minute. Yeah. And there's something behind her back, and that's basically it. Now, obviously, if you're watching this, then you've seen the episode, and we both know that it's Midnight. It's a sequel to Midnight, which was unfortunately spoiled for me.
Yeah.
And I'm mad that it was. I think if I went into it not knowing, I would have enjoyed it a lot more than what I did.
It would have been a really good twist. It would have...
Yeah.
You would have had that reaction with the Doctor, finding out that it was Midnight. But...
It's weird because, you watch the episode and it's oh man, all these revelations are turning, everything's happening, and you're yeah, but I know. And then you're sitting there I'm waiting for it to happen, or I'm not in that suspense. I'm right, I know what's coming is coming, so just do it. Which was really a shame, because I didn't want to know. And it's not as if I go, I don't go looking for spoilers, I don't even interact with this community. It really is just, it was an Instagram post, and somebody was just yo, spoilers, and I'm I didn't, what?
Is that how you got it spelled? I'm pretty sure I saw a post from the BBC of a clip of Shooty of the Doctor learning it was midnight.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they don't care. After the episode actually transmits on BBC One, they're spoilers are free. It doesn't matter.
I hate that it comes out so early in the morning. At least it's not midnight. But what is it, 8 a.m? It's
8 o'clock in the morning, and this is something that we didn't talk about previously. But the 8 a.m. starts, they suck.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We all made fun of the midnight starts, and I still think it was a stupid idea. Just release it at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m, whatever. Just release it at release time. But man, there was something fun about staying up till midnight to watch an episode, especially with us, because we would be out on Friday night and then come home and be I'm not going to go to bed yet, I've got Doctor Who, and it was exciting. And now it's 8 o'clock in the morning, it's I'm not going to stay up 8 hours. I can just wake up and watch it,
At least with an 8 a.m. release, or no, not even, at least with a midnight release, I could either watch it that night or watch it before work. I start work at 8. Yeah,
there's nothing you can do.
8 hours where I'm okay, can't look at my phone too much and try dodge and swerve. I'm tired of dodging, man. Just want to let me enjoy something without knowing. Do you know what? This is nothing Doctor related, but last week was the first time I saw a Marvel film with no spoilers since Ant-Man and the Wasp. Actually, before that.
In fairness, nobody's really watching Marvel films at the moment.
Wrong.
But yeah, I mean that spoiler culture or whatever, it really does suck.
I understand seeing something and wanting to talk about it and know what other people think. But just wait, or at least give me a big black screen that says spoilers first. Yeah,
you do a listen, spoilers, view at your own risk. That would be enough. But see when it's just oh guys, this is happening. This is the story. This is. Yeah. I don't want to know that. I wasn't even. I knew that before the season started, which really sucked. But I will say, it starts right. So this season specifically, they did them all at 8 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. This is the one episode that you could have released at midnight, and it would have fucked so hard. First of all, midnight. It's dark, it's quiet, everybody's asleep, and you're watching a spooky, scary, amazing.
That was incredible.
It's fucking sequel to Midnight, the story Midnight, on the planet. It just... What a blunder. What a blunder. What a foolish... Russell, fuck you. No, honestly. I think that is something that bugged me, but it's such a nitpick. But let's talk about the episode. So, first of all, what do you think about it? Give us a rundown of the thoughts.
I think it was a banger. I enjoyed it. Yeah, if it hadn't been spoiled, it would have been like a 10 out of 10. But I think just having an actual scary episode again that is scary.
Yeah.
Getting to go back to Midnight and doing it in a good way.
What do you think about doing a sequel to Midnight?
I like it. And I said this in the...
yeah, because we both said this, didn't we?
I want to go back to an old planet from years ago and have there be like such a massive time gap and things have gotten worse.
Yeah.
That is exactly what happened.
Well,
that's all I wanted.
That's fun because like one of my predictions was I want to see Doctor capitalising on nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously for us, we grew up with the David Tennant, Matt Smith era. So like I would like to see the Sycorax back, the Slovene. The Midnight Entity is not one that I would have chosen.
Yeah. Because
I do think that Midnight works really well just as it is. But the fact that they did an Aliens type of thing with this, where it's like, original Midnight is Alien, this is Aliens, I accept it because it's still horror, but it's a completely different like take on it, which I think, I don't know, I can fuck with that more than I could have fucked with, hey, we're doing Midnight again. Or we're doing a specific, sequel to it. So, yeah.
They changed it. I've never seen Aliens, so I don't know. Sure. But anyway, I like that they changed the... I mean, it's been 400,000 years, 40,000 years?
Yeah.
It's been years, for sure.
Some amount of them, anyway.
Some of them. I like how they changed the creature, like it's evolved over time.
Yeah.
And I like that these evolutions show the change in the planet and why... Well, you don't know why it was that way before, but you still don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't hear it. You don't know anything about it.
Yeah, well, people were complaining about, like, oh, it's so powerful, why is it breaking everybody's bones and necks or whatever? And I'm like, you did see in Midnight where it took half of the fucking Crusader cabin and just launched it somewhere. Like, this thing evidently had power, and the Doctor goes, it was a vile creature having fun.
Mm.
That's it. That is absolutely it. I think it always had that power, and it's just doing a different game. It's just having more fun. And I think I fuck with that. One of the big things about the Midnight Creature, I'm glad that we didn't see it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we didn't see it, and it doesn't retroactively make Midnight shit.
Mm-hmm.
Or like lessens Midnight. I mean, it'd still be a good episode on its own, but it doesn't go out of its way to be like, hey, fuck that actually, we're doing this now. I'm glad that it is able to stand as itself. But I'm glad we didn't see the creature. And I'm glad that that wasn't something they even decided to do.
But I'm really glad we didn't see it. I'm glad they kept it. Like, you only see a little sneak here and there, but not enough to properly go, oh, so that's what it looks like.
Yes.
But I still, to this day, if I watch Midnight, that bit, we're in the cockpit, and they go, did you see something move? I'm pausing it.
Yeah, you have to look.
I'm rewinding it 6 times. Like, maybe I'll see it next time. I don't know. So when this started, the first scene with Alice, when Belinda looked up and jumped, I was like, oh, that's kind of rude. Jumping at this deaf girl that's just sitting there. I was like, hey, Belinda. You're one of those ones. And then I rewinded it, and I just missed it again. And then I went back a third time, and I'm like this at the TV. Let me...
Come on.
Let me see. And I started, oh shit.
What I really like is obviously that was real because they did make a mask for it.
Really?
In the Unleashed, they have like the actual mask for it, and like it's a fucked up design, but it's also really glad that that's not the actual creature. Yeah. And that's like, to me, it's just a stand-in. But at least there is a mask for it, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that it's a sequel to Midnight, it works. I wasn't as enthused about this episode as everybody else was. Like when I watched it, even like when we're talking about it out with this, like you and Jet, and I was just like, I don't know. It just, Lux put a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it put a bad taste in my mouth, and then I sat there and I was like, another Doctor Who, which is the worst way to feel about your favourite show. I mean, but yeah, like I watched it and I was like, this was good. I can acknowledge that I had a good time. this was creepy as well. Like I'm not being like creeped out. I wasn't like scared, but I was creeped out. No, I was fucking petrified.
This is, I think, the most scared I've been of Doctor Who since like Blink came out. I was terrified, actually. But this was creepy. It was quite like, it's because obviously the first Midnight Entity, or the devolved Midnight Entity, it is scary, that repeating thing, and when it starts getting quicker and quicker and then speaks first, that's freaky. But this one, having it been just a little bit behind you, just a little bit on the side, no. Get fuck.
I did like that. I mean, it felt very rustly to be like, there's something on your back, or there's something behind you. But I like that because, again, we haven't really talked about it yet, but Alice Fenley is a deaf character. And I think that's handled really, really well. I think that's, like, people will love to be like, oh, it's woke. It's not woke. That can't be woke. Sorry. Like, it's a really, really deft handling of something that is very, very good. And I think that was it was a clever way to weave it into your story, but also make it feel genuine without being like pointing fingers or pointing, like, it was just, hey, this is who I am anyway. And
little things like when Belinda went over and was like, oh sorry, I don't sing, and she was like, a doctor that doesn't sing,
it's against the law,
that's illegal.
And it really works well with this story. I don't think it would have worked as well as part of a story as it does with this one.
I will say for Doctor Who it's a bit late for deaf representation. For everyone.
For representation and just in general.
Doc, it's awful out there. But deaf representation has been coming quite big recently. Not big, but we had 2 deaf Marvel superheroes in the past 5 years. Like, you had a deaf Oscar winner a few years ago. Deaf is in. Deaf is cool.
You're hearing a lot more about it. I'm so sorry. I do like the Doctor doing sign language too. Yeah. That's really sweet. I think that is so Doctor, and I will say, this is the most Doctor Who his Doctor Who has ever been. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, Boom I think is very, very Doctor Who, but it's only because it has those hints of Peter Capaldi, of Stephen Moffat. Yeah. This is like the most, oh shit, this is just Doctor Who. And I really, really like that. I think that's really fun. And I miss that. I've missed the Doctor being able to just be like, yo, I'm in a situation, you're deaf, cool. And then being able to interact, like sign language, and that just makes so much sense. Yeah. But what I will say, when we meet Alice for the first time, she's been sitting there for 15 days. Alone? And it's not exactly, apparently she's been sitting in that room for however long. Have you heard the theory that she was already dead? And the Midnight Entity uses her. Yeah, like is using her as like a puppet. I don't think it has those well. Because I feel like it makes sense, especially that end where you think that she's smiling because she's free and she can go home. But then if you look at it more, like her mask isn't lit up. That's right. And on the airlock it says 4 people instead of 3. So obviously that's how the entity got out. But what if it got out because it was just puppeting? Yeah. But again, that is where the representation kind of falls apart. Because if you're bringing in a disabled character and then you make them the monster or the puppet of the monster, you're just falling back into that trap of disabled people become... Because I see this argument a lot, especially with, like, Bond villains always get it. Why are you giving him a scar? He's already a villain. I don't say that, but I think sometimes people are scared to make disabled characters the villain because they don't want it to be like the disability is the villain. That's the cause of it, or that's because... Sometimes you can just have a disabled villain, because if you continuously don't have a disabled villain, then it leads to the belief that disabled people can't be villains. Yeah, I suppose there's two, like, this is difficult because neither of us are particularly disabled. Just up here maybe for sure. But like, that's a difficult conversation. Yeah. Like, obviously I can talk about it in terms of Doctor Who, because that's the whole Davros thing where they were like, oh, we're not putting Davros in the chair anymore. And I'm like, Davros is a Dalek. First and foremost, that's why he's in the chair. He got fucked up and made the Daleks. Like, I feel like that's fine. I do feel like when you solely only cast disabled people or people with Scar is deformed, whatever, as villains, and that's what you do. You create you create them as this other thing, this scary thing. This look, they're not like us. They're not like you. They're different, and that's what makes them. That's where that argument comes from. I think that's fair. That's an absolutely valid argument. On the same hand, Davros is Davros. He's a Dalek. Grow up.
Yeah.
He's a Dalek. I can't. There's elements to that where you toe the line, and I do feel like you can toe it well, or you can do like what this episode does. Toes it fantastically. It's to the point where it's perfect. The Davros element again is just. I think that's where it goes too far, because you're like, this is a character from like the 70s, and you've done it, New Who, Classic Who. Yeah. It is just also very effective. And he's not evil because he's disabled, he's evil because he's Hitler. You know what I mean? Like, ooh.
It's one of those things, like, obviously, if you're wanting representation, the best kind is to have a superhero or something. Like, you want the hero of the day to represent you. You want to be you want to be a little kid and look up and go, oh, just like me, for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Some kids are evil, man.
Most kids are evil.
Some kids want to look up to like evil people, but at the same time.
Wait, hold on a minute. You're like give evil children evil role models.
Yeah.
Okay. We've gone a bit down the well here.
I hate women. I hate kids.
Respect. Like, I'm not fist bumping that. Absolutely not.
Where was I going with that? Something about... What was I even saying? So yeah, when you look at how hyped up villains get sometimes, like, I'm yapping about Marvel. I'm thinking like Loki.
Yes.
Very much everyone's favourite. I mean, kind of an anti-villain sometimes. But started as a villain and everyone loved him. Like, just do that. Make a good villain that can be redeemable. Obviously, don't have your disabled villain be like... Who's evil? Give me an evil part. Like...
Trump.
Yeah. Like, you can't make them... Oh, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm just going to stop.
Okay.
You just... There's a way to do it.
Yes.
And there's a way to not do it. And I think as long as you do things with good intentions and check with the people that have a say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, don't just do the thing.
Yeah, make sure that it actually is representation, not just what you expect or think it is to be. Because again, it's good and well for us to be like, yo, this is good representation. And I think it is. Like, the deaf community apparently really, really does like this, and that's really good. But, like, without that knowledge, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's great representation. I'm not deaf, so I can't sit here and be like, good work. Yeah. To me it's good work because I haven't seen much media do that. And when I see media like this do it, I'm like, wow, thank you. I didn't actually... There are things here that I didn't consider, or there are, I like that. I do like having my worldview opened up. And then, of course, that actually brought me on to my actual point. Hell of a tangent. But that brought me to my point of, she says that line, don't turn your back on me, which is fantastic. And I think that's kind of what the whole... That's the whole story. That is the... You could have hit... that's the hinge. Because it's like, it means so many things. Don't turn your back on me because I'm deaf and I'm not included in that conversation. That's society. That's, great. Don't turn your back on me because there's a thing behind me and it's going to kill you. Great. Don't turn your back on me. Like, it's so... I don't know if it's clever, but it's layered and I like that a lot. Creepy too. What a hell of a creepy thing to... Like, like the way she says it breaks your heart.
Yeah.
It does. It genuinely breaks your heart, but it's also scary. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed that. What do you think? Okay, so my big problem, or at least I think a reason that I'm disliking parts of this, I don't think Doctor Who knows its audience. Because you have this. This is a fairly dark story.
Yeah.
When you look at it, like dead bodies strewn across the floor, flown up, broken bones, and people are complaining that you don't get to see the gore and stuff. And I'm like, you're right. I would much have preferred to have you do full on aliens and go gory and, you know, make it fucking disgusting and horrific, and you get away with it because the episode that you get, it is scary, it is good, it is still, you know, it still works. But like, yeah, I would have loved to have actually seen, you know, proper dead, you know, like bones and guts and gore, and I think that would have made the Midnight Entity, if you didn't take it too far, but I think it would have made it really more like The Thing.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a really interesting angle.
I think the way that they did it as well was really good. Beyond just seeing a snippet of it.
Yes.
That sequence with the idiot soldier who went behind her.
Yeah.
Obviously the other guy gets blasted and then this guy freaks out and he's going left and right.
Yes.
He's running a bit down. Everyone's screaming, everyone's panicking, people are flying everywhere. I think that was a really good... It wasn't gory, but it was shocking.
Yeah.
Like, they all just got wiped out.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I really enjoyed that scene, and I think it works. I think it's effective. And I'm sitting here, I'm doing that thing that me and Robin do all the time, where it's like, but what if? And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. What we get is what we have. But what if? Because I think it would have been more horrific if they just fell to their knees or something.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what the fuck? And they just fall, and like that's them. But obviously, you need that more visual.
Yeah.
So I understand why it's like that, and also it looks really good.
Oh.
It does look really good. But in terms of audience, this is like the darkest I think it's been in a while. Why is it that all the good Doctor Who episodes that people remember, people really like, are all the ones that are more mature, or more that appeal more to that older audience? Because I don't think kids are watching Doctor Who in the same way that they ever were. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it appeals to the same audience.
Kids today don't care about Doctor Who. Kids today aren't nerds. I mean, some of them might be. But kids today are like, I want to go to Coachella. Like, girl, fuck off. Go watch Doctor Who, learn something.
Real.
I think, yeah, it's definitely... I mean, it's an entirely different show now.
Yeah.
But even... I remember when I was young, and I think I did, like, some of the scarier episodes. Sorry, I'm being yapped at. Some of the scarier episodes made me feel more grown up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm 5 years old watching Doctor Who, and I'm terrified, but I'm not moving, I'm not closing my eyes. Like, I'm watching blank, I'm not closing my eyes.
I'm not blanking. Yeah.
But I feel like kids these days are so...
I think they're unfazed, right? Like, because you have all the TikTok. Yeah, exactly. You have that TikTok and everything else that shows you, you know, horrific things. No wonder people aren't maybe as scared, because like I don't think I was talking to this with my mum. Like, again, Davros back in the 70s, that shit scared her, but you know, it scared me when they did it in Series 4. But like, to a kid now, that'd be who cares? You know, who cares?
Like, kids are watching Final Destination shit. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, an alien.
But like, that's the thing, and if that is true, I also don't think Doctor Who is appealing to. I don't think kids are watching it, which pisses me off when you have something like the Robot Revolution, which is basically just the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah.
Which I think is very. The word I want to use is sanitized, right? Like, it's so open ended that you know, everybody could watch it, but nobody specifically is watching it, which is getting to the point now where only the fans of the show are watching it, and even us are feeling unsatisfied because we're going, who's this for? It doesn't feel like it's for us, but it's not for them, and it's not for the new audience, it's not for the old audience, so where do we sit? And I think episodes like this prove to me that just go and focus on the older audience. If you I think that's what it's missing. I think it needs that more adult orientated. Listen, we're gonna fuck about. Kids can watch it. Kids can absolutely tune in, but like, honestly, I think your audience genuinely is teenagers onwards.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's your audience.
I think it's, but I mean, even at our big age. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was probably the only person in my class that watched Doctor Who. So it still wasn't like majorly popular back then.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things that it's like your dad watched it or your granddad watched it.
Yeah, somebody got you into it.
Yeah, like, it wasn't just like you were flicking through the telly and went, Doctor Who, who's this guy? Like, it's generational, right?
Yeah.
Each generation of my family has a doctor.
Yeah.
And it's nice to pass that down, I think, but it's also like, if you think of how many people like our age that don't watch it that aren't going to pass it down. And sure, there are people that have never watched it at our age that can start watching it, like Robin.
Yeah. But he only got into it because, well, me and you.
Yeah.
Like, Robin only got into Doctor Who so that we can do Blueboxd, really. And then it's obviously just like we yap at him about Doctor Who all the time.
I think
But yeah, like...
Stockholmed him.
Well, that's the thing. And I think it is a community show because I've watched the first 3 episodes I watched alone. But last night we watched Lucky Day. And watching that together as like the group, I was like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
I had a lot more fun watching an episode together than alone. And I think that's like another part of what's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like people aren't watching Doctor Who, so you've got nobody to watch it with. And I think it is. I think it's something that you watch like a cinema.
Yeah.
Like you watch it together with people, and you realistically want it to be more like that, more orientated towards people who are watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode does a good job of that. It's a good job of being adult, letting kids watch it, getting them scared as shit,
Yeah.
but also appealing to me or the older audience, where you can be like, yeah, there's something for everybody there. And I don't think you get that. I don't think,
Yeah.
like Lux, for instance, was very, very sanitized, very just run of the mill.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's fine, but there's so much more you can do with that. And they didn't do it because it's like, we don't want to like alienate the audience. And I'm like, you're gonna have to, fucking choose a lane.
It is crazy that I was saying this to Robin the other day, because it was such a red herring to mention Blink in Lux.
Yes.
And then immediately do Midnight, like, as a carry-on. It was a good... I mean, when I started, the fuck's this episode called? The Well?
The Well? The fuck is this called?
When I put The Well on, at first I was still a bit like, Lux. And I think it took until the body started appearing that I was like, oh,
yes,
like
something
this.
else is happening.
I'm interested.
I will say there's lots of like interesting... Well, I know what you're laughing at. There's lots of interesting little bits.
Yeah.
That like genuinely, I feel like I've been very harsh on it, or like I feel harsh. Shit that I don't like, and I'll just run through it. The Doctor and Belinda in the TARDIS wearing the exact same spacesuits as the troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid, lame, and also Russell was like, "Oh, I just wanted to add some action in that first half." I'm like, "You didn't need to. That's stupid." Because what do you mean? Like it just happens. You have that amazing scene in the TARDIS, which we've been missing with Ruby, with any of the recent Doctor Who's, where the Doctor and Belinda are just talking, and it's like, okay. There's like an epilogue to Lux. There's a but also a beginning to the Well, and I'm thinking that's really, really nice, and what we've been missing. And then they go straight into they do the costume change again, and it's the exact same shot, and I don't know what this means.
Yeah, I don't like it. It feels.
It's worse every time they do it too.
I saw a theory somewhere that the Doctor is trapped. I saw a theory, but I didn't.
I didn't comprehend.
I didn't understand it. What was it? It was that the Doctor's trapped in a TV show or something like that. Did you say this?
The TV show Doctor Who?
Yeah. Was this you?
This is such a strange moment. Well, yeah, because there's the worry that what we saw in Lux isn't finished, and that there is more TV showy stuff.
There was something. Sorry, it just clicked.
yeah, thank you. Okay, I thought that was a bet. You think he's real?
No, there's a blood.
This is the fourth time they've done Mysterious White Woman shows up every episode, and it is
the other two.
The Flesh Lady for Amy.
Yeah.
Madame Kavarian. There you go. Miss Triad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Mrs. Flood, and the other one.
For sure.
They did Rose Tyler. Rose Tyler did it. She popped up. No, she popped up in series 4. But every episode.
What was it?
Yeah, every episode just as like, oh, the finale.
She wasn't at midnight.
Yeah, she was.
Wrong.
Yes, she was.
Don't gaslight me.
No, I will not gaslight you. I'll tell you the truth. See that screen? See the screen? He like sonics the home video system off, and then for like the split second, she's on that screen, shouting
Really?
Doctor. Yeah. Don't
I've
test my autism.
I've never seen Midnight Dog. Crazy.
But yeah, so like it happens a fucking lot, and I think this should be the last time that it happens.
Yeah, doing it twice in a row is quite brutal.
Yeah, especially when the last one was so shit.
Yeah, and especially when you're not actually getting any clues to what's happening.
Well, yeah.
Madame Kavarian I quite liked, actually.
I just don't care for this. I don't personally care for this type of story.
What I'm hearing is I don't personally care for white women.
And you're hearing what you want to hear.
Yeah.
No, like this type of story, this type of mystery box, doesn't interest me anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think that. To me, realistically, I would love to just watch Doctor Who. I'd love to just be like, here's the fucking show. Let's have fun. I like that Series 2 is a lot more cohesive. Like Series 1, there was so much space in between each episode, as we see with Lucky Day, because they do shit in between Devil's Cord and Boom.
Yeah.
But like, at least in this season, you've got Robot Revolution, straight into Lux, then Lux straight into the Well, and there's maybe a gap in between 3 and 4. But like, that there is such a cohesive... Like, that's one sleep for Belinda. This poor motherfucker has been abducted from her planet, taken to deal with a robot revolution, goes to Miami, deals with an animated adventure, and then does the Well. Yeah. And gets shot. Like, within one day.
Oh my god, literally, where was she last night? We're not even talking about that episode.
No,
but,
no. No, but like, that sucks.
Busy.
Like, that sucks for Belinda, but I love that for the story. And I love that it's happening. It all feels like there's a reason for it. And in a sense, it's like a limited series. Or like one whole serial. Which I've been missing. That type of storytelling, go for it. The storytelling where it's like, Mrs. Flood's popping up every episode. Wonder what she's harbinging. Shut up. Who cares? Doesn't even make sense. Fucking.
One thing I will say about back to the Well.
Dun 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 dun. Sorry.
Huh?
Back to the Future. But with the Well.
Okay.
Sorry.
The guy, when they look at the CCTV.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. No shit.
This guy's just screwing, but that's what made the doctor go like, something's not right.
Yeah.
Not all the corpses.
No, you know, this is normal. This is like a Tuesday, but there's something wrong with this guy.
Something up with this guy.
Yeah.
He'd be a great police officer.
Real. There was something else that I didn't take to very much. Oh, I think it was the fact that it was so quick. Or so short. Now, I'm going to keep going. I've talked about this a lot. And I will just, I'll drop it. 45 minutes is not long enough for a Doctor Who episode. This episode sucks. It sucks that life out of it. Because it rushed so quickly. Like, that entire finale just happens. You know? And that sucks. Because also, the finale is this big action moment. And it just doesn't feel like... It feels like it takes a minute to get started. It gets started, it's over. And I think that is wrong. You needed minutes with Alice and, sitting there with, just building that tension and having more like just a time with it. I don't know, I felt like, and I felt this with every episode from A Shooty's Era, it's just missing something. And I don't know what that is. I think it's 5 minutes.
Interesting.
I think it's footage, but...
I don't really mind the 45 minutes. I think maybe this is a two-way thing. I think for one, because I just watched Inside Number 9.
Yes.
Franchise.
Yeah, you're really...
That's half an hour, and every episode's entirely different story, different characters, different thing, different concept. So I think rattling through that, you don't really have time to ask for more. Even if the episode ends and you're like, well, what? I've never been like, I could use another 10 minutes of this episode. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, if I go to watch a TV show, these are the two types of autism: short and quick and easy, and fucking long. If I put a TV show episode on and it is an hour plus, I'm killing myself.
That is interesting, because to me, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. The ideal format for me as Doctor Who is like an hour.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look at everybody's favourite episodes. You've got Blink and you've got Midnight. Now these are the very few episodes that fit so well within the 45 minutes. And I'm not saying you can't do that. By no means am I saying it doesn't always work. You did do 10 seasons of fairly okay, 45-minute, it works. But there were episodes, a lot of episodes that were like, if you had another minute to flesh this out, if you had another little extra scene here and there, or that freedom to do it. You have the freedom now, but you're just not taking it. I don't get that. But everybody's favourite episodes, bar like Blanket Midnight, are two-parters. Satan Pit, Journey's End, like all these episodes that get talked about so much. And people really do enjoy these finales and these longer episodes. They're like an hour and a half long. Or like 90 minutes. That's a movie. That is a movie length. And I think that's maybe what Doctor Who works at. But I think genuinely, if the most realistic they'll do is an hour long. 60 minutes per episode. I'll take the hit with the 8 episodes if you're giving me 8 hours of content.
That's what I was going to say. I can get behind a longer episode considering it is a shorter season as well.
Yeah,
to make up for that. But I don't know what it is because realistically, it's nice, it's rounded. 1 hour. If I start at 5, I'm done at 6. Magic. But at the same time, I'm like, that's an hour.
It is. Like, I don't know. It is. It's a difficult one. I'm not going to be able to fix Doctor Who just by saying it.
If you say it loud enough, if you believe.
But it does bug me. It does bug me, and I think not so much with this episode. I think it's fine. There's rushed elements, but it's next episode that really grinds my gears that way. But yeah, they have that whole finale scene, and his theme's playing, and I'm just like, whoa, what's happening? Where did this come from? What's happening right now? And then it's over. And I'm like, okay, cool. That was a lot. And I don't feel like that was very satisfying. But other than that, that's my negative. I feel like I came into this a lot less on board with it than I actually am. Like, I do really like it. For me, right now, I can tell you, it's like a good 8.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good 8 episode. Like, 8 out of 10, absolutely. Kat?
I think I'm a good 8.5.
Yeah. Like, I think that's very fair.
I didn't really have any complaints. I would have liked to see... I don't know. I would like to see the creature.
I disagree.
I wouldn't really, but I would. I think there's always going to be a part of me that wants to see it.
I mean, the Doctor has that moment where he's like, I need to see it. And he doesn't. But he sits there and he waits for it just until he can. And I think that's really interesting. I did like the reveal, the whole... People really complained and harped on about, the trend. Where they're like... They play the flashbacks. I know context. So they do, this planet, what was it called? Midnight. And then flashback to David Tennant. And then... And I think, honestly, it's effective. It works. And it's the most Doctor Who that it's been in a long time with a reveal. Because and then it went straight into his theme and he's running and he's like, oh my god, fucking hell, I know what's happening here. And I really, really like that. But people are really taking on to that trend where it's like... RTD2 if it was RTD2, and then there's just like random scenes where it's like any reveal and they're like, do you remember when you were in an ambulance, and then it does the flashback. Or it's really, really good. I've been really enjoying them. Or like some of them really fucking go hard too, like in Dalek.
You need to show me these.
I will. I'll link them in the... But there's one with Dalek where it's like Dalek if it was RTD2 and it's Christopher Eccleston walking around the Dalek. He's like, it's the Dalek, and then it cuts to the William Hartnell's the first Daleks, and I'm like, do you know what? I know you're making fun of it, but that was there was some sauce. Somebody cooked here. But yeah, no, I thought that was really, I thought it was a good reveal.
Yeah,
and I liked the flashback.
The one thing that shocked me, I mean, it was like a David Tennant jump scare. They were chucking his face in everywhere. This is like the second...
Well, that was the complaint, I think. That's where that was where that started, and people like making fun of it. They're like, oh, we have to have David Tennant everywhere, and we know.
I like, obviously, some people might not know of Midnight. Some people might
that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, give it a wee chuck, show a spooky bit. Hello? Dog, it's the entity. What is that? No, what really shocked me is how grainy that footage was.
Yeah, but it still somehow looked better than most of the...
Like, it looked fine, but I was like, oh, shit. Like, chunks on the screen. I was like...
It looks like, because they've obviously upscaled it Or like they've put it into the new season's aspect ratio instead of what it originally was, and it does look strange. I'll give you that. But also, it made me a little sad actually, because I went, man, we used to get Doctor Who, and then I was like, it's still Doctor Who, but like it's Doctor Who.
I like that he didn't win this episode either.
Yeah, like they think they did too, and that's the post-credit scene that's the credit scene where obviously it escaped.
Yeah,
I think that's really fun. I think that's really interesting.
Hearing the whisper.
Yeah.
I do hope we go back to it, but like not anytime soon.
No, like that is another 10 years. Like 2008, almost 20.
17.
Yeah. So like doing that, absolutely. Like wait 30 years, do Beetlejuice and just like come back. I really, really would. I'd be on board with that.
I would love to see what the next iteration of the Midnight Entity is. Because obviously the first one it repeats. The second one it's behind you. What's next? It's in front of you?
Yeah. No, but I will say actually, before we continue, and I think this was something I've just realised, Wild Blue Yonder, to me, was the sequel to Midnight.
Really?
Yeah, because, as you say, the first Midnight, it copies. Then this Wild Blue Yonder, it doesn't it copies form. So it copies voice, then it copies form. And I thought that, to me, was really, really interesting as a narrative follow-on. I thought those creatures, and that could still be part of that timeline, because there was let's say there are two Midnight entities. Well, say there's two Midnight entities. There were two of the not things. There's a way you could I can see the corkboard strings everywhere. But to me, I think that actually bugs me now that I think about it. Wild Blue Yonder was the unofficial Midnight sequel, and then it feels like they did that a little bit again.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it more in Wild Blue Yonder.
Interesting. I don't remember liking Wild Blue Yonder that much. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously some bits like Donna being left behind.
Yeah.
I'm taking the fake. I see it now that you say it, because they copy and they gradually got more and more human. But they were too goofy with them fucking arms. I think that was a problem. See, when it was all practical, great. See, when they did the Snapchat filters, that's because it's cosmic horror, and that's one of my favourite things. But it just loses you there, and that's unfortunately the image. But yeah, I remember now why I was like, I'm not as on board with this as I should be, because I've seen it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for letting me do that revelation an hour into the podcast. But yeah. I do wonder what... I thought a lot about the Midnight Entity. Because obviously it smashed all the mirrors that were behind it. Mm. And the surface of the planet used to just be like straight mirrors.
Yeah, it was diamonds all that, yeah.
Yeah, so it must be a different one, or it's just evolved this way.
I feel like, they said they pulled it out from the well. So that's something. But also, is it a different creature? Is it the same? No, because it knows his name. It knows his name, and he says that he's met it before, so it must be the same creature.
Yeah.
But also...
So that means this thing is old.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it's timeless. Like, whatever this thing is, it clearly has no form. It is just something. Yeah. Which is terrifying.
I don't want to wait 20 years for another one. I want to wait 10. I feel like 10's a good amount, and then we can bring it back.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah. I do think it's really interesting. And you know what, I will say, despite me still realising that about Wild Blue Yonder, I do still like it. I think I had a fun time with it.
Yeah.
The side characters I got on board with, I actually really enjoyed. And there's that lovely flashback when she's running, as if she's about to sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
And you get that moment, and I thought that was really, really Doctor Who for a long time. That feels like... I've said this before. Doctor at the moment feels like it's trying to be Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. Instead of being like a show where there's a character called the Doctor and a show where there's a companion and they face monsters. It feels like it's trying to be Doctor Who. And I realise I'm just saying words, but you understand what I mean. Mm-hmm. It's trying to be what we expect it to be. Whereas this time I thought it was just doing... Man, what happens if you put the Doctor in this situation and, and a companion in this situation against a monster? I didn't feel like it was trying to be like, we're trying to do a Midnight sequel. We're trying to do... I'm like... That's what I like, and I'm really glad that we got that, because in that scene it felt very doing Doctor Who authentically, which is horrific. I can hear myself being a film bro, being like, it was very authentic. You know, it insists upon itself. Fuck up, dick. I like it, okay? That's where I'm at. I like it. 8 out of 10.
Okay. Solid.
This is where you give me your number, which we've done. But just recap it.
I do think it's solid 8.5. Maybe a 9 out of 10.
It's really high.
8 3/4. 8 2/3.
8.
8.9. I'll stick with 8.5. It felt like old Doctor Who. It felt like being a kid again and like being scared and not really knowing what was going to happen next, especially with something like the Midnight Entity.
Yeah.
It didn't end well the first time. I mean, they escaped.
But it was harrowing. Like, the Doctor also didn't win.
Yeah.
Also, this poor thing makes people sacrifice themselves all the time.
Yeah.
For no reason too, which is, I think that makes it that sacrifice even harder, because it's like pointless.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked that. I thought that was actually really, really cool. I would like to see more of this, but not soon.
And they played one of Matt Smith's themes. I forget which one, but towards the end they played some of his music, and that felt very. For me, I think that's what actually. Yeah, that takes up to a 9.
Well, they also played the Midnight Actual theme from Series 4, which I really, really liked.
Yeah. But Matt Smith.
yeah. But yeah, I did like that. The good music. Yeah, I think that's me for the well.
Yeah. Well, in that case, better wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was us wrapping it up, actually. I think that's the well. Well.
We could have got Robin over and had him behind the
I thought about this. I thought about this, actually. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and / watching. I hope you enjoyed. What did you think about the well? Well. Yes. This has been Blueboxd.